What's up, guys? It's Zach the Celtics guy here. I'm back with another video, and you know it's very important information when I make a video response to it. But when it concerns multiple topics, you know, I'll just go and stream. But when it concerns one particular topic, I'll just make a video like I usually do. This one particular thing, it's probably going to cover a bunch of different topics, but apparently the Young Turks can't let the GrayZone go. They just can't leave the GrayZone alone. They can't leave Max Blumenthal alone. They can't leave the Aaron Mate alone. They can't leave Glenn Greenwald alone. They can't leave Jimmy Dore alone because they're fucking desperate for clicks. They're desperate for fucking attention because they're clout chasers and they're attention fucking whores. Sam Cedar is one of them. The Humanist Report is one of them. It's ridiculous. So, a lefty channel that I'm a big fan of, and is like a Jimmy Dore lefty by the name of, this channel by the name of Revolutionary Blackout, did an interview with Max Blumenthal, the main creator and host of the GrayZone, asked him to respond to the Young Turks' latest smear of them, calling them, you know, once again, Putin puppets and whatnot. Max Blumenthal utterly destroyed Cenk Uygur, saying that he has a small brain and everything. I saw this earlier while I was making my lunch and taking a shower this morning. I just could not help but respond to this because this was fucking hilarious. The day after my birthday, I saw this. This was actually posted originally 5 days ago. It's so funny. But it just pains me as to how fucking stupid Cenk Uygur is. The Young Turks are stupid. They are so fucking... They're so fucking closed-minded and they're so small-brained. That's what they are. They're so far to the left that they sound like corporate news. And I have come to the realization that that it's actually not people who are left of the Democrats that are sounding crazy. Okay? We used to think that. A lot of people used to think that. Not but a lot of people used to think that. But it's actually people that are more with the Democrats that are sounding crazier. Because I'm to the left of the Democrats, actually way to the left of them at this stage of the game. And it's just fucking crazy. And it's crazy because the Democrats are the ones, the current day Democrats are the ones that are the corporatists. They're the ones that are sounding insane, like the Young Turks. They are fucking Democrat shills. And Max Blumenthal... response to this was hilarious, and he was having a good time with the main host of Revolutionary Blackout. It was hilarious. Bree is hilarious, and the destruction was funny.
And then they take that and they call you a Putin puppet just by explaining the facts. Now we already talked about the Cenk and Bree conversation, and when you listen to the conversation, you explain why. You see why I say there's no left infighting.
Yes, Bree is that lady was the one that destroyed Cenk right to his face.
The difference between RBN and TYT is so wide, you can't say that's infighting. There's no infighting here. These people are capitalists, these people are imperialists, and these people are in no way, shape, or form our allies. These people, their only job is to divide what would be a movement to challenge the establishment power. So when we have a March for America for all, they are there to attack the March for America for all. Yeah. When you have truth tellers that are telling the truth about Ukraine, they're here to repeat, literally verbatim, what you will hear on MSNBC regarding
all of the right, etc. I'm going to take yes for an answer on all.
All right, so here's Cenk Uygur's pathetic response to Briahna Gray about the right wing. We all know how this is going to go.
But there are other issues. There's actually three buckets. There's the bucket in the middle where we don't agree. I don't agree with some people saying they're on the left, right? So Ukraine, for example.
Oh, like me, because we don't sniff Ukraine's ass no matter what. You don't agree. You don't agree with us. Because we're either more sympathetic with Russia or we just don't pick a side. We just don't play both sides. And Ukraine is a fucking American satellite state. That was expanding on Russia's borders, and then this happened. But you want to deny that because you're a fucking corporate shill. Because Cenk Uygur is a fucking corporate shill, and he's a Democrat shill. And this is what they've agreed to.
Questioning the amount of funding that's going to Ukraine totally makes sense. I believe Ukraine is in the right. But hey,
Of course you think Ukraine's in the right because you think Ukraine is this big fucking saving grace. Of course you think that. It's funny, you question the amount of aid going to them, but yet it's funny that Jimmy Dore and the GrayZone say the exact same thing. So again, you're trying to have your yellow cake and eat it too, dumb fuck. Trying to have it both ways here. Trying to have it both ways, Cenk Uygur. That's not the way any of this shit works. You're trying to sit there and act
whenever
like
we
that.
ask for anything at home, we never get it. But as soon as defense contractors are going to make money off of it, we're spending billions, and that isn't necessarily even going to Ukraine. So I find that legit.
That's bullshit. Joe Biden signed a thing, literally signed an order giving more money over to Ukraine, and Bernie fucking Sanders is on it. The squad is not going to help us get any of this stuff because they believe in giving more money to fucking Ukraine to fund their proxy war with Russia. You're such a fucking liar.
Gray zones, and I hate. Oh, the Ukrainians are terrorists for fighting back against the Russians. How dare they?
Fighting against the Russians. Oh, okay. Get the fuck out of here, you fucking corporate shill.
The Russian soldiers. They literally said it. Jimmy did a video about how the Ukrainian civilians were terrorists.
Yeah, and he's right because because of the fucking neo-Nazi terrorist groups.
For firebombing the tanks that were coming to blow up their house.
Wait, he talked about Jimmy Dore and me at the same time. I don't know what Jimmy said, but...
Here comes Max Blumenthal ready to utterly destroy Cenk Uygur.
I think I maybe don't watch as much Jimmy Dore as you might, but I do listen to Aaron Monte and Katie Halper's show. I do hear him in that context. I do see clips from GrayZone people and things like that. I had Max Blumenthal on the show, and my understanding is that there are these specific instances in which there's not reporting on the West about various skirmishes, about the presence, even if you think it's too minor to talk about, but the presence of Nazi and right-wing groups in the context
that's
of
what I'm talking about, Briahna. You're validating insane right-wing talking points.
It's not fucking right-wing talking points, you asshole, because this is what Cenk Uygur does. He smears everybody he disagrees with as right-wing and Russian puppets, Syrian puppets. This is the Young Turks playbook. This is the shit-lib playbook right here, ladies and gentlemen. Literally right here. This is an example of a shit lib right here.
Oh, wait a minute.
It's a right-wing talking point to be against Nazis.
Right-wing talking points. Being against Nazis, you fucking spastic retard. You spastic, fat, fucking buffalo-looking bucktooth retard.
No, that's a Vladimir Putin talking point as a justification for attacking them.
Viva Vladimir Putin.
I mean, there's a credibility issue here because if you mischaracterize other people's arguments, I think there's a legitimate...
Which is what Cenk Uygur does. He mischaracterizes everybody that he disagrees with.
...reason to have a
credibility issue. I've never seen Grace...
You have a credibility issue. You are the one parroting the CIA talking points on Syria, parroting the Syrian chemical hoax and all these other hoaxes inspired by the West in the Middle East. So I don't want to fucking hear it. I don't want to fucking hear it, you stupid fucking retard. I
do not agree with Vladimir Putin. They are total and utter puppets for him.
Not true, but even if it is, who cares? Even if they are pro-Putin, who the fuck cares? Okay? I don't care. So shut the fuck up, you fucking spastic retard. You have no argument. You have no leg to stand on. You just can't let it go. You just cannot let it go. You just cannot accept the fact that the GrayZone is left of you and thinks differently than you. Jimmy Dore thinks differently than you, and Briahna Gray thinks differently than you. You fucking lying smear merchant piece of shit. You are just as bad as any other establishment media. You're as bad as CNN, MSNBC. You're like the Fox News of the left. You're like the Alex Jones of the left. You are literally like the Sean Hannity of the left. You are, and Anna Kasparian is like the Janine Pirro of the left. These fucking people are the ones that are hurting lefty causes. Okay? They're the ones that are hurting the lefty causes. Not Jimmy Dore, not Max Blumenthal, not me. They are. The Young Turds, the biggest shit libs on the internet.com/worldwide. That's what they are. They're the worst. And hurting the left. And we're all just laughing at it.
Jesus, but you got... Where do we even start with that? You guys see this meltdown?
Well, it's like
We
those
want to
other...
start, man. Just someone to stay there.
that was my first time seeing it, and like I feel more disgusted than the reaction video I did to Two Girls One Cup. Humiliating. I mean, what? Like, don't I deserve better enemies than Cenk Uygur, the washed up MSNBC failure who can barely form a coherent sentence? And if you look at what he's doing,
because all Cenk Uygur says is, of course, and
he's avoiding the issues by using the gray zone to appeal to the prejudices of his normie, brain dead viewership. And if you're still watching TYT at this point, I just don't. I mean, why not just at least get a higher production value with MSNBC and watch like David Plouffe with a slightly better background than Cenk, like, and you know, Chris Hayes, you know.
If I could like this video 10,000 times, I would.
It's like I prefer like a Rachel Maddow impersonator.
If I had a dollar for every brand that Cenk Uygur didn't have, I would have literally negative $10,000
to like
in my hands.
It's just like one of the most inarticulate, unappealing characters in corporate media, and TYT is corporate media. It's supported by corporations.
100%.
What he's doing though is he's using the reputation of the gray zone, which has been our reputation has been tarnished and attacked relentlessly.
Yeah, mine has been too. After I've been going after the Young Turks a lot more viciously now because they're getting vicious with us. I'm gonna do it to them. I'm gonna do it right back to them, and I encourage others, including Max Blumenthal, to do the same.
By the foreign policy establishment and all of its tentacles in the media, and he's leveling it to avoid having an actual argument about these issues about Ukraine. And he's just like, it's like talking to a really stupid propagandized normie that you just might meet in, you know, I don't know where you would meet them in real life. They're probably like living online, but he's just highly propagandized. He's like, I believe that Ukraine is in the right, but he doesn't say why, and he can't get into any of this.
Max's impression of Cenk Uygur is fucking gold. It is like the best thing I've seen all day today, the day after my 26th birthday. This is like a late birthday present. This is absolutely hilarious.
Substance of the arguments. But in the gray zone, you got the gray zone. I see this all the time with these TYT and Bread 2 people will just be like, unlike the gray zone types, or that guy Marcus who does this show with Sagar and Jetty, I saw him say,
oh, Jesus fucking Christ. Don't get me started. Go ahead.
He was like, you know, Republican minority.
You see, that's the black voice they get on Breaking Point, is the imperialists.
Well, him, I mean, not to divert from Cenk too much, but him and Sagar seem to have gotten these kind of like special minority fellowships from the Hoover Institute.
It's like, did they even listen to themselves? It's like, did they even listen to themselves instead of just flinging mud at all of their critics as right-wingers, Vladimir Putin puppets, Assad puppets, and everything else, and tankies? Okay, well, I don't think I've ever heard the Young Turks ever call anybody tankies at any point. I'm sure they have, but more of their fucking brain-dead bots tend to do so. This is just unfucking believable.
Because
it's just all about flinging mud at my critics and smearing them as right-wing Putin puppets, Russian puppets, whatever. It's all just same shit. And then if you don't fucking sniff Ukraine's ass and Zelensky's ass, no matter what, you're a Russian puppet. It's like, fuck all of you.
But it serves the interests of white Republicans, so they wanted them in there. And actually, I'll go into Marcus in a second, but I'm just saying he was one of those characters who would just invoke the gray zone to take all arguments off the table.
It's invoking the gray zone when they don't have an argument and they're just desperate for attention. It's like they're fucking attention whores. Like, oh my God, I didn't get enough attention when I was a little kid. Oh my God, look at me. My mommy and daddy abandoned me in the dumpster when I was 2. Please, give attention to me. It's what these fucking people sound like at this point.
And that's the thing. No one ever
That's exactly
debates
what
us.
Gray did. And I know you didn't see the debate, but it's something else. Like people making fun of it all online right now because like Cenk was using Glenn Greenwald and Jimmy Dore, and he was like he was having this internal debate with you guys.
They use anybody that they get into a disagreement with and smear them and fling mud at them for fucking clicks because that's all they've got to offer because they can't argue the facts. When they can't argue the facts, this is what they've degraded to. And what they continue to degrade to.
As a proxy.
Yeah. She
was like, I'm right here. Why are you talking about Jimmy Dore?
Like, the GrayZone literally called. He always does it. So he said something is literal, but it never happened. He's like, they literally called the Ukrainians terrorists because Jimmy Dore said they firebombed the tank. It's like, wait, so we literally called them something that Jimmy Dore allegedly called them, but Jimmy Dore isn't with the GrayZone, and
if the GrayZone has any jobs, being a journalist or being a writer or being a political commentator for their network, hit me up because I will be more than happy to work for the GrayZone. I want the GrayZone. I will continue to promote the GrayZone because the GrayZone is the best news source that there is. And Jimmy Dore is a great news source and also providing good comedy for all of us to watch. Because no, I mean, they go on in that clip, and it was just hilarious. They go on and they talk more and more about it, but it's just too funny. But yeah, no, this is what the Young Turks still continues to do. They still continue to parrot. Excuse me. They still continue to parrot establishment propaganda about Russia and Ukraine, acting like Ukraine is the good guy no matter what, and that's the end of the conversation. I'll just listen to it.
That's just indisputable fact. The constant shelling of civilians in Donetsk, deliberate attacks on marketplaces in Donetsk that have been filmed and documented, they don't enter through the 76 pounds of lard that encases Cenk's golf ball sized brain, so he doesn't know about that. And everything that he echoes is a function of the propaganda, the corporate propaganda that he internalizes. And that's really the role of TYTs.
Oh, Max, that's too nice of a word to describe Cenk Uygur's brain. That's too nice. You're giving him too much credit. His brain is the size of a fucking grain of salt.
The kind of take Democratic Party.
Not to diss on Max. I love Max. I love Max Blumenthal. Greatest journalist of our time. Love the guy.
And military intelligence propaganda.
I was just basically saying, cause saying he has a golf ball sized brain, that's giving him too much credit. But other than that, yeah, no, love you, Max.
And put it in a language that sounds kind of progressive, and then to occasionally do some. This is a thing I've actually seen, because I've been around Democratic Party circles and those progressive movement circles, which are all billionaire backed. And they have this thing where they attack the Democrats really harshly, but it's because the Democrats won't go far enough to take on the Republicans. That's their thing. It's not that the Democrats are corrupted by Wall Street and the war state. It's that they're just not anti-Republican enough.
Yeah, and I explain this concept all the time. People will
even Bernie Sanders is not that at this point because he's further right on the Ukraine issue than fucking Marjorie Taylor Greene and Henry Kissinger, which is a sad state of affairs. What kind of world do we live in, people?
And these same Cenk Uygur style leftists, I call them TYT leftists, they were so upset with me because I wouldn't vote for Jim Crow Joe in the last election because they were like, oh, you can just kick and complain because you guys not getting anything that you want. As if my complaint is that the Democrats not fighting hard enough. I love that you put it that way. My complaint with the Democratic Party is what they do to our community. The crimes they commit, not that they're not doing enough. I want them to stop putting their boot on the neck of our communities. I want them to stop funding genocides. I want them to stop funding the police more.
And stop funding fucking hoaxes and staged attacks of where Ukrainian soldiers are setting themselves on fire and entering buildings and blowing themselves up. Because these are all fucking staged attacks and hoax attacks that they're using to blame on Russia, because Russia's the bad guy in this scenario, and whatever, they can't let Russia win to end this war because they want the war to continue. This is a NATO proxy war. They want NATO to continue doing this. They want the military-industrial complex to continue doing this bullshit because this is what they have to offer. And if this makes me a Russian propagandist, or if this makes me right-wing, or if this makes me like whatever, then that's a badge I'll wear, and I will wear proudly. And I am 26 years old. I turned 26 yesterday, and I don't give a fuck, okay? I don't give a fuck, okay? Because I stand by every single thing I say in this video, and I've said in the past, and I will continue to say in the future. Because we need more people like these guys.
It's not what they're not doing, it's what they're actively doing. Amy Klobuchar take the second most out of police funding out of anyone in the Senate. And then she failed to prosecute Derek Chauvin, and that leads to his murder. Then Joe Biden invited the George Floyd family to his White House, wrote a bill in his name that funds the police more. The Republicans wish they can get away with that kind of disrespect, right?
Yeah.
So people, they miscategorize why we don't like the imperialist party. But go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, I mean, you had like Anna Kasparian's rant against the Democrats. I am never, they always get so worked up. I could never just by myself and a camera get that worked up. You got to be kind of miss like a few cards short of a deck to get that emotional with just you and a camera.
I mean, I get that way sometimes, but I only get that way when it's people like the Young Turks, or people like on the far fucking right, like Ron DeSantis, or some other fucking stupid anti-gay Republican, or like Marco Rubio or Ted Cruz or someone somewhere along those lines. When they're so fucking stupid that they just make my brain melt due to their stupidity. Which I think is pretty reasonable.
I will never, and like her, you could see her bun tightening, and like, ever vote for the Democrats again until they, but it was because they had not codified Roe, and like that's, you know, it's what John had been saying, but she's basically saying that they just aren't taking on the Republicans harshly enough, and then you could see she pulled back like pretty quickly from that line, and is back to the line they're always at, which is gatekeeping for the Democratic Party. And the Democratic Party is actually, it's always sort of played this role that it's currently playing. But it's changed. It doesn't have its New Deal elements anymore. It doesn't even have the classical liberal elements that we saw in the 1980s congressional Democrats.
Like Rafe Dubin.
Where they actually would take on something like Iran-Contra. Today's Democrats would celebrate Ollie North the way they celebrate Liz Cheney, because they love proxy wars. They love the intelligence community. That's what they call it.
Yeah, and by the way, fuck Liz Cheney. She's a fucking loser. Good riddance to her.
They don't call it like...
She can fuck herself, and fuck any Democrat that supports her. Fuck anybody that supports her, or the Cheneys or the Bushes, because they're all the fucking plague of America.
I don't think anything's wrong with the CIA, and as we've seen, they love the FBI because it's going after the bad. It's going after the bad orange man. You have Charles Booker, who's, you know, marketed himself as a progressive candidate who also defends the interests of black people who've been historically oppressed in the American South, and he's running in a southern state, and he's the pro-FBI candidate. Yeah, there you go.
I did a story on this weekend. This is the new tweet where he's like attacking Rand Paul, the libertarian from the right. Like, bruh.
Yep. So the Democrats are pushing those lines, and the left, the professional
is eating
left,
it up,
including a lot of the socialist organizations, have spent a lot of their energy investing in candidates who are supposed to go into the Democratic Party and change business as usual. And instead, those candidates have been absorbed into the party.
Unfortunately.
And we see this happen again and again. That was the role that TYT was actually supposed to play around the 2016 Bernie campaign,
And
which
they
was
didn't.
to shake up the party instead of serve as a gatekeeper. So they have nothing to show for themselves. All their candidates are supporting the FBI. They're supporting the Ukraine proxy war.
Nina Turner.
And then you have this right-wing whack job who comes into Washington from Georgia, this gun-toting right-winger who hates socialism, or so she says she hates socialism, Marjorie Taylor Greene. And she says all the stuff that the squad is supposed to be saying about Edward Snowden and Julian Assange being pardoned, about the 40 billion being this gigantic money laundering grift. She is condemning the Azov battalion and did a Twitter thread that was absolutely excellent about the Azov battalion being actually a literal neo-Nazi wing of the Ukrainian National Guard, funded through the Ukrainian Interior Ministry, which has carried out heinous human rights abuses while being celebrated by the Ukrainian diaspora in the streets of New York. It's all true. And it's so left, the identity of the left is in a state of complete crisis right now.
Which is pathetic.
As they see that their relationship with the Democratic Party has blown back on them, they don't have anything to show for themselves. And so that intensifies the need for gatekeeping and for attacking those of us who are moving away from that perspective.
This is facts, people. This is facts. But anyway, this is a 25-minute clip. I responded to about half of it. I'm gonna leave it here for now because I'm gonna go eat my dinner. I'm gonna go eat my my lunch and gonna go spend some time. Go spend some time with Steven. So anyway, thank you to everybody who listened to this today's video. There'll be more stuff on the way coming up soon. Actually, in my next stream, I actually plan on responding to the remainder of this clip. Actually, I might do a stream either tonight or tomorrow. But stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for more content videos, other stuff in the works. Stay tuned for more stuff on the way. This is Zach, the Celtics guy, saying thank you for watching. And shout out to the GrayZone. Kudos to Max Blumenthal for utterly destroying the Young Turks and their bullshit, and to the Revolutionary Blackout channel, and to Jimmy Dore, and to all the other people who are to the left of the Democratic Party, including that take my perspective on that, and we all agree on this and more. But agreements, disagreements, doesn't matter. We don't hate our neighbor, we hate the establishment, and that's all there is to it. More stuff on the way, more streams, videos, and other stuff in the works. See y'all again next time. Bye for now, take care, peace out, and I'll see you all again next time. Thank you to Max Blumenthal, the GrayZone, and to the Revolutionary Blackout. And to Cenk Uygur and to the Young Turks and the other shit libs, fuck you, go fuck yourselves. To everyone else, see y'all again next time. Peace out.